In a world where everything is becoming increasingly connected and integrated with technology, cars have lagged behind. But all of that is changing, and fast. The automotive industry is on the cusp of a technological revolution as companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft partner with car makers to bring the power of our phones and AI into the vehicle. Almost all auto manufacturers have struggled with consistently delivering a great user experience that can keep pace with our phones and computers.
It's important to note how much of a pain point infotainment has been for these car companies for a long time. Really starting like early 2000s, BMW started coming out with iDrive, and immediately there was all kinds of issues with how to control it, and the interface wasn't user intuitive. I had a Toyota Tundra recently, and that infotainment system looks almost unchanged from the one in my uncle's 2012 Toyota Highlander. And that's always been a point that has really hurt Toyota and other companies like it that haven't invested that much in the infotainment department. The pace of the smartphone and tablet sector just moves so much quicker.
But some of the big tech companies are fixing that. Apple and Google have developed their own connected car solutions that let you access navigation and messaging on your infotainment system.
CarPlay is Apple's way of getting inside of your car. You basically hook up your iPhone to a console or an aftermarket heads-up display, and it shows you different apps that are available on your iPhone that you can use while you're driving. You can access things like Apple Maps, Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, CNBC, your podcast app, and more. And it allows you to basically see a version of your iPhone that you can use while you're driving.
Google's version is Android Auto and functions just like CarPlay by projecting a driver-friendly interface onto your infotainment screen. Both systems have been around since 2014, and companies like Ford, Chevrolet, Audi, and more are integrating Google and Apple in their cars.
Often you'll find cars support both CarPlay and Google's Android Auto, and it seems like this is what customers want, since all they have to do is get in the car and then everything on their phone comes up right on their display. And auto manufacturers, they don't have to worry about spending millions of dollars to create new in-car entertainment systems.
So Toyota and Ford and all those companies are saying, actually, it's really a lot better for us if we can just let Google and Apple do a lot of the heavy lifting and focus on what we do well, which is building cars. Not everyone is, of course, on board with the idea that infotainment should be equal across all cars. We've seen studies that show that people are willing to switch car brands for more connectivity features. And so everyone wants to offer, CarPlay and Android Auto and those things. But when you're charging more money, you want to offer a better experience, which is why high-end manufacturers like BMW and Mercedes want to focus on offering, a step above what you might get in your Ford or your Toyota.
While Mercedes supports Apple and Google's offerings and BMW has CarPlay, both have continued to invest in their own technology, developing personal assistants to control car features.
You can say things like, hey Mercedes, set the climate control to 68 degrees, while also using it to control music and navigation. So while your phone may be able to very well do music and navigation, they're taking advantage of the fact that your phone can't turn on your heated seat. Your phone can't set the climate control because that's their ecosystem. Because the idea being, if you get really used to using that BMW software, when the time comes to upgrade, you're not going to want to switch to an Audi and learn a whole new system.
In order to power its personal assistant, BMW turned to Microsoft.
Microsoft is providing the underlying AI capabilities, cognitive capabilities for automakers like BMW to create their own branded voice assistants. In the future, people will be interacting with their vehicles through voice. A lot of the commands are going to be voice driven. And here's the opportunity for BMW to create a very impactful voice assistant that portrays their brand and provides very rich context-specific experiences for their consumers.
Unlike Apple and Google, Microsoft is focused on creating the underlying tech that will support all of the different smart features in a car.
We strongly believe that the automakers are in the best position to provide these experiences by themselves. The role of technology providers like Microsoft is to support them and give them the underlying capabilities they need.
Microsoft is also partnering with automakers like Volkswagen and Daimler.
If you have a problem with your vehicle and you bring it to the dealership to fix, well, since Daimler has access to all the data, they can quickly forecast what could be the potential problem and speed up that repair cycle for you.
A major benefit of these systems is safety. Tech like CarPlay and Android Auto are designed to keep drivers off their phones and focused on the road. Inside Google, the Android Auto team has a whole lab dedicated to testing distracted driving, using the data to influence the user experience design of the platform.
This is our driving simulator. We use it for testing our product in a driving context while maintaining a safe and controlled environment. We have participants wear eye tracking glasses so that we can track their pupil location and measure their glances to and from the road and to the product. So we'll have them navigate to a destination or send a text message using their voice with the Google Assistant. The driving simulator allows us to measure glance duration and gaze location. It also allows us to collect data of driving performance so we can make sure that they are maintaining a consistent and safe speed and they're maintaining their lane position and not swerving.
Right now we see about 1 in 13 drivers texting while driving. And so the implication is that here at Android Auto we have an opportunity to really make a difference.
Voice assistants will actually play a pretty big role in changing how we interact with our devices while in the car.
Incorporating Google Assistant into Android Auto is really the fundamental piece that's going to make this all work. What we really want to do is minimize the number of times you do need to look off the road if you do need to do that. So the assistant, by being predictive and putting the information you're most likely to be searching for right there, that leads to a really wonderful experience. People don't want to be fumbling through intricate menus while they're driving. They want to get to what they're looking for right away and back to the road. We have the opportunity to really eliminate handheld phone use while driving.
Amazon is also interested in your car and has been working with a number of automakers to bring Alexa integration.
In a new BMW or a new Ford or a bunch of other manufacturers, you can say, Alexa, what's the weather like? And they'll use the car's connectivity or your phone's connectivity to answer that request. But they actually go a step further than that. There's also Alexa skills for certain brands. So while on a Genesis, which is Hyundai's luxury division, they won't allow you to use Alexa in the car. What you can do is in your Alexa in the home, you can say, Alexa, start my Genesis, and it'll actually use that connective car service to remote start your car via voice. So it kind of, instead of bringing you into the Amazon ecosystem in your car, it's bringing your car into the Amazon ecosystem that you already have set up.
Amazon is also enabling features like Amazon Key for cars from Volvo, GM, and Ford, which lets packages be delivered to your car. It's an alternative to the controversial product that gave the retailer access to your home. And for older cars, Amazon has that covered too.
Average car on the road in the United States is now over 11 years old. So the vast majority of Amazon clients are completely left behind by this revolution. And that's where Echo Auto comes in, which is Amazon's standalone device to bring those Amazon connected services to your older car. And so they're really trying to hit all possible avenues. They're working with as many manufacturers as possible and doing really what they were doing with Echo the whole time, which is saying, yeah, we'll license it to smart speakers. Yeah, we'll license it to competitors. We want Amazon Echo to be part of your life no matter where you are.
Eventually, we may see car computers that end up running mobile OSs not all that different from our phones. Google is working on bringing the full Android operating system directly into cars, so a phone isn't needed. It's called Android Automotive, and an early iteration was debuted in Volvo's Polestar 2 EV.
This is Android running in the car as the embedded infotainment platform. And unlike Android Auto, your apps and services are running on the car, so it doesn't matter what kind of phone you have, or even if you forgot your phone at home.
We took the decision 2 or 3 years ago to decouple hardware and software because our own systems never kept up with what the software companies were doing. And it was fairly evident to work with Google. So for us, it was about making sure that we could make the interaction and the interface of the customer when they get in the car the best possible.
User always had to shift between two worlds. One world was Android Auto, where you kind of had your brought-in services, and then you had the rest of the system. And what we've seen over time is as more and more functionalities move into the actual screen, that seam between brought-in device and services that Android Auto provides and everything else available kind of started to grow. So with Android Automotive, what it does is it enables us to bring the seamless experience. The third-party app developers, Spotify, for example, NPR, they can now bring applications that they started developing originally for Android Auto and mobile directly into the car.
Having Android operate natively in a car could open up huge possibilities. There are over 2.1 million apps in the Google Play Store, and with minimal effort from the developer, all of those could be available right in your car.
With Android embedded, what we're going to now is that you bring the functionality that you like so much about your phone into your car. And that's the marriage that we're looking for, that we have a seamless integration of your life as a connected person outside the car, not being interrupted when you get into the car.
With such a focus on cars, tech companies may completely transform our concept of what a vehicle can be.
These vehicles are going to be your office on wheels or your living room on wheels. Today, when you're stuck in a commute, it's really a bad experience that people go through, where in the future, every minute can be a very productive experience if you want to do some work while you're moving, or it could be a great entertainment experience. And so Microsoft, in our role as a technology provider, is partnering deeply with automakers. So together we can accelerate and provide these innovative services faster to the market, because no one person can bring it all. And we truly believe us coming together can bring this value at a much more rapid pace.